happy Ram Navami, and it's good to see you back again here. And for those who don't know, we are studying the book Living Hanuman, which Pawanji has very gratefully written for all of us to read and understand. And we are taking up different verses. For today, we are studying the verse 12. And as always, I'm just going to briefly read it and hand over the knowledge giving position to Pawanji. So the verse 12 is Raghupati कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई तुम मम प्रिय bharata-hi bhāi. And there's an English translation. Rama pouring love as shower, heaping you with many praises. You are Bharata, O my brother, most beloved. Thus he says. And the in point meaning, very different from what I had thought. I embrace each and all my siblings of light. I embrace each. So, taken aback again, like every verse I read, I'm taken aback by the way I have understood it and the way there are so many different meanings. Sometimes we kind of fixate the way we understand things. And I would love that you tell all our viewers and readers and inspire them the way you inspired our whole kul. We are about 50, 60 odd children, young people, older people reading and studying the book with you. So please tell us about this verse.
Beautiful. So Raghupati कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, Raghupati कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय bharata-hi bhāi. Raghupati, Bhagwan Ram, कीन्ही did बहुत, a lot, बड़ाई, praises. So Bhagwan Ram praised you a lot. And he said, tum mam priya, you are dear to me. You are very, very dear to me. How dear to me? Bharata-hi bhāi. You are as dear to me, and you are like Bharat-like, as you are Bharat-like to me, Bharat-like brother to me. Now, you have already read in the book, it is explained clearly that Bhagwan is very overwhelmed and he's praising heaps and heaps of praises. We all know that appreciation and praise works as medication, as good as medication. Just to tell somebody how good he is, how well a gardener is watering the plant, how well your child is writing a letter or something. Praise, try to find excuses to praise, not reasons to criticize. We have to all the time keep finding excuses to praise, because every word of praise will work like medicine. And to heap somebody with praises, it's a sure way to win that person's heart. Not in an ingenuine way. You do not have to be ingenuine in that. Genuinely, if you begin to train your eye, you'll begin to see so many reasons to praise a person. It is how you train yourself to look at that person. And try also to understand the background that Hanumanji was one of the executives in the banished band of 20 odd staff of a defeated ruler, Sugriva. And he must be out of 1 to 20, Hanumanji was the 20th. He was the junior most. That is why he was the one who was sent. I go, look, who are those two guys coming in the forest? Sugriva sent him. And Hanumanji went and saw Bhagwan Ram, etc. And the whole story flows. I wish someday between us, we do the whole Ramayana storytelling in our own way.
Absolutely love it. I actually do not know personally how, what was the moment of meeting of Shri Hanuman and Shri Ram like.
So Bhagwan, Sita ji had been abducted, and Bhagwan Ram and Lakshman were in search of Sita ji. And they were just walking by. As they were walking by, they crossed the portion of the forest where Sugriva was sitting, sulking, depressed, because his brother had thrown him out. He had a bunch of 20 people, 20 odd vanaras. If you visualize 20 odd monkeys, they're sitting around him, not knowing what to do. Hanumanji was the junior most in that. When these guys saw, who are these two walking by in the forest? It's our territory. Who are these people? They got curious. So they sent Hanumanji, go find out who are these two guys. And so Hanumanji went and talked to Ram and Lakshmana, got them introduced and brought them to Sugriv. We'll talk about it even later because the later verses talks about that. So such Hanumanji was so junior in rank to Bhagwan Ram. To such Hanumanji's least of the least efforts also, Bhagwan Ram would appreciate like anything. He would embrace him, hug him, love him, bless him, give him boons, even for doing something that Hanumanji was so-called supposed to do. It was his job, it was his duty. So normally we ignore that. Therefore, one huge portion or a big message from this verse is to include appreciation as our natural fragrance. We should be appreciative by nature. We need not be appreciable by nature. That will happen. But we have to become appreciative, whoever, whatever there is, to be able to say how nice and good it is. So that's one part of it. Raghupati kini bahut badai. And badai does not mean appreciation. It is not. It is a loose translation. Badai means making large of someone. Bada means large. Badai means to make it large, to magnify. Whatever you have done, to be magnified. We normally we do badai of the beauty of our beloved. Men do that, or women also do their this thing, to make big. Oh my God, you got me this cake. Oh, this is exactly the cake I wanted to eat today. And how could you know that? And I even dreamt you're getting this cake. We make up all kinds of things to make a big thing out of even a small thing that our beloved does. So badai, appreciation, is to magnify something which can be magnified, which should be magnified, which is appreciable, and to diminish. Always remember that all these verses are hints. So if you have to be appreciative, the opposite is also true. You should not be critical about small or large mistakes of your colleagues, of your family. Somebody has done something, somebody spilled water or burnt the food or broke a pot or broke your heart, whatever, whatever he did, not to tear him down, but even in that to find some words of appreciation. So appreciation, that's the key word. The other word, in fact, as I have been telling you, this whole hymn is full of cryptic messages, like Da Vinci Code. So here you get a message, tumam priya, which is fantastic. You are very dear to me. But he uses the word bharat sambhai, like my brother Bharat. Why didn't he use the word Lakshmana?
I thought about it very funnily. I was like, why is he referring to Bharat and not to Sri Lakshman?
Yes, why not Lakshmana? Lakshmana was with him all the time. Why not Shatrughan even? I mean, it's not just that Shatrughan is not written so much about, but he was the warrior. He was keeping the whole kingdom safe. He was the one who was killing all the enemies and troublemakers around, killing in the sense, settling them and keeping peace around him. Why not those two? Why only Bharat? So one layer of explanation I've given in the book, that Bharat actually means one who revels in light. So there is an allusion to seekers of light. You are like my brother Bharata. Bharata was a seeker, was a tapaswin. Therefore, when Bhagwan Ram came into the forest, and Bharat thought that my elder brother, my Bhaiyaji, will be sleeping on the ground in the forest. He won't have any bed to sleep on. Bharat dug himself a grave-like pit and used to sleep in that, few levels below. He imagined that my brother would sleep at some such level, so let me dig a pit and sleep a few levels lower than my brother. I cannot sleep higher than my brother. That was his love, or that was his devotion, or his connection, or his submission to Bhagwan. But another secret is how Bharat was born, how Bhagwan Ram was born. So the story goes that his father, King Dashrath, when he did not have children even after getting married 3 times to 3 beautiful queens. He, on advice of his guru, Sage Vasishta, conducted Putreshti Yagya, a yagya to grant sons, progeny. And in the Putreshti Yagya, the prasad of that yagya was like a kheer, like pudding, rice pudding. And that was given to the 3 queens. As the 3 queens were walking out of the Yagyashala, the place from where they had just made the fire oblations, they were walking out so that we'll sit down and eat the prasad. There was a hawk that snooped upon Keikei's hands and just picked up half of the pudding in the claws like that and flew off. That hawk was actually an apsara who was cursed. There's a long story again behind. She was an apsara known as Punjaksthala, and she was in form of a hawk. She came, she snooped down, picked up a bit of kheer and flew southwards, flew down south, somewhere near Nasik, somewhere near Trimbakeshwar, where today Trimbakeshwar is. There, Anjana was standing in prayers, standing in doing her tapasya, her practices to Shiva. And Punjaksthala came, this hawk flew down and dropped that kheer into her hand. So Anjana thought, this is prasad from heaven. Like we will all think, suppose you're standing like this and a fruit drops into your palm, you will think it is some blessing from heaven and you'll eat it. You'll say, you'll be so much filled with joy. And Anjana picked that up. She had it. The same evening, it is said, she conceived Hanumanji. Therefore, Hanumanji is born exactly 1 week apart. Today is Ram Navami. 1 week from now, on 27th of April, on full moon, is Hanuman Jayanti. Hanumanji is born. So here, Bhagwan Ram, in his own very subtle way, is saying, I know, it is just not that you are just anybody. You are like my brother. You are twin brothers, born out of the same prasad. One prasad became Bharata, one prasad became Hanuman.
I am totally smitten, and I have not read it, obviously, because this is your research from many years from different scriptures, that you are able to connect the dots and tell us the stories in a way that they are going to stay with us for a very long time. But you won't believe, every time, even though we do separate classes with the group, every time you say something like that, I kind of scribble it down quickly and then I go read it later. But I have never heard about this part. Like, I know that there was a key, there was a prasad that Anjana Mata got, and then Shri Hanumanji was conceived. But look at the connection. Like, I was never able to draw the kind of the point where they both meet in the same storyline. So that's fantastic.
So that's where Bhagwan Ram is saying that you and me are one. We are born of the same prasad. I was born out of Kaushalya, you were born out of Anjana, Bharat born out of Keikei, and of course Lakshman and Shatrughna born out of Mother Sumitra. So we are all one, we are together. We are all brothers together, we have come together. So it is a very beautiful statement and a sentiment there. But also in that, then you stretch it further and you feel, whenever you meet anybody in this world, you do not know of which blessing is that person born out of. Is that the same blessing as you? Is it the same grace that flowed into his mother's womb and your mother's womb at the same time? Therefore, it is in a very different way. It says, Tulsi is sansar mein sabse miliye dhai, na jane kis roop mein Narayan mil jaye. Tulsi says, run and greet somebody and embrace somebody. You do not know who is who, in whose form divinity will appear, manifest himself, and come towards you. So this is a sentiment towards that.
In this, in the in journey question and in the last takeaway, my action point, which is what we should ideally kind of execute as an action in our everyday life when we study a verse, and it's like the kind of actionable item that one can actually do after reading this. So I will tell that later, but it says that in the questions, what are the qualities and deeds of those who are closely around me that I should appreciate and be grateful? And I truly feel that I said it in the previous verse as well when we had done it, that we often forget to be thankful and grateful for those who are constantly around us. Because somehow we just think that they know we love them and there is no necessity particularly of appreciating them. And often when I say thank you to my mother, she says, you don't have to thank me. And I keep telling her I have to. So these are small things, but I love the way you have given. I mean, we all know that sometimes praising someone can really motivate them. But when I look at it from a very parenting aspect of view, I feel that a positive reaffirmation or reconfirmation to children in a positive aspect, when we praise them and motivate them for the smaller things that they do, it gives them and instills them a great sense of confidence to take on the world by themselves eventually. So it's something that every time I read, I am able to associate the scripture from this book to something that I am doing in my everyday life and that which we can. And my action point is to praise out loud for my colleagues, friends, family, and anyone around me. And I think that's a practice in today's time I think we all need, because in terms of the kind of loneliness that has set in among people, and when now we're starting to go out. So in UK, the lockdown has just opened literally after 4.5 months. So, there were many people who were unemployed, and now when you go to a coffee shop to simply be have two lines of conversation which are pleasant, and you appreciate something for them genuinely from your heart about, thank you for making this coffee for me. I know it's their job, but it kind of brings brings out their day and their joy. So definitely from this one, I already do it, but I make it a point at least to bring joy to two people in a day, even if it's somebody who I interact with every single day. So it's a reminder for all of us, for everyday actionable items, to do simple things that kind of just harishi urlai, the harsh comes out to the top. And thank you, and see you very soon for the next one. I truly enjoy it and it brings me the harsh, so at least I can say for myself. Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Namaste.